Hello and welcome to our first update video of the coronavirus pandemic in the United States. As you can see here, we're using the old CDC transmission map, which I find to be far more reliable, and it's showing 85.38% of the country is in high transmission, 9.4% is in substantial, 2.79% in moderate, low makes up 2.36% of the transmission. The highest prevalence of high transmission is in the eastern states and southern states, again in the western states, portions of Texas, some of the central states, but the plains, you're in low to moderate transmission, even some substantial areas. The northeast is also, for the most part, high to substantial. There was more high a month ago. That is starting to change. New York City is still on high transmission on the old map. Pennsylvania, New Jersey, southern Connecticut, Boston, I believe, is high transmission. And that's going to increase as the BA.5 variant starts to take over here. We're coming off of a major holiday weekend, and we're going to see some big precautions because of that. Cases are going to start rising. Let's get into some of today's case numbers. As you can see, so far today, 134,346 cases have been reported. But mind you, a lot of states did not report today, and some of this number is holiday weekend lag. So far, there's been 405 new deaths today. Tests, only 645,000 new tests today. Hospitalizations, which we'll get more into in a little bit, 171 added. ICUs up 87. Looking at the national map here, don't read too much into this because some states have not reported and there's a lag. So some states that may be down might not actually be down. Some that are up might actually be up higher, and vice versa, just because of the fact we're dealing with a holiday weekend lag. But as you can see here, Florida is now reporting a 24% increase in cases, and they actually just updated a couple moments ago. Maine's now at 31% increase. Alaska is at 22% increase. More on Alaska when we get over to the Walgreens portion of this video. And as you can see here, Texas today reports 39,000 new cases. That's a backlog between last Friday and up until today. They did not report over the weekend, so they dumped them all today. Florida, similar deal, 32,000 new cases. Illinois, also a weekend backlog dumping, 10,862 new cases. Don't pay attention to New York State because New York State has not updated. The governor of New York has not updated, and their dashboard data has not updated either. Michigan, this is interesting, 13,102 new cases, but according to this at B&O, 157% increase week over week. That's really bad. New Jersey, almost 2,200 new cases today. Wisconsin, 3,500. Then we come down to the south again. 4,500 new cases in Louisiana, which is a 4.8% increase week over week. That's not good. California did not provide an update today. Hopefully we will get California update for tomorrow's video. Let's take a little bit deeper into Texas, shall we? Positivity in Texas has been gradually rising since March. You'll see at the end here, it dropped a little bit. That's just because of the holiday weekend. The positivity on the state level, this is coming from the state, this is not Walgreens. Molecular test positivity is now 28.33%. That's really bad. Antigen test, which is rapid testing, is 13.12%. That's high, but it's not as bad as molecular testing. Going back to the B&O site real quickly, we want to take a look at Florida again. There's an interesting thing going on in Florida. Take a look at the hospitalizations in Florida. Currently, Florida has 3,684 hospitalizations. That's a lot of hospitalizations considering the fact last year at this time, if we go to July, today's July 5th, we'll just say July 4th, for example. Still shows the picture. There was only 2,139 last year at this time. So that's roughly about 1,500 hospitalizations higher than before the Delta wave started last year. And we know BA.5 is more immune evasive, so that's something we're going to have to watch, considering the South usually has the biggest surge in the summer due to the high heat and the number of people flocking inside for the air conditioning. Let's take a look at the variant proportions here, shall we? And if we look at the BA.5 variant, it now makes up 53.6% of the cases. The old BA.2.12.1 variant, that's only 27% of the cases. BA.4, which is also new to the picture, that's only 16.5% of the cases, and that's because BA.5 is clearly going to outpace it, and that is going to become the dominant variant as we continue over time. Continuing on to Walgreens data, the national positivity at Walgreens today is 32.7%, 2.4% increase over last week. And if we look at some various states, here in my home state of Pennsylvania, we're at 22.1% positivity. That's a 2.3% increase. Connecticut's also starting to see an increase here. That's up 4.3% to 23.3%. Massachusetts is seeing an increase of 1.5%. New Hampshire is starting to see an increase. We're not seeing it in Maine, Vermont, or New York yet. They're still seeing somewhat of a decrease from the spring wave. I do, however, think New York is about to flip. Looking at the rest of the country, we do have some really bad data in Alaska. 47.4% positivity rate. That's better than the over 50% they had last week, but mind you, they're not doing much testing there. Only 57 people showed up for a test in Alaska, which is more than the 48 that did last week, but still, they need to be doing at least double, if not triple, the amount of testing there. And other places, Florida, take a look here, starting to rise. Remember we were just talking about hospitalizations and how after 4th of July last year, Florida kaboomed? Here we go. And incidentally enough, the South has the highest prevalence right now of the BA.5 subvariant. And if we take a look at the Walgreens proportion for the BA.5, BA.4 variant, pay no attention to BA.1. That does not exist in the United States anymore. There aren't any cases of it here anymore. It's pretty much washed out by these other subvariants. Walgreens is placing this at 69.37% of the cases, which is higher than the CDC. And oftentimes, the Walgreens for positivity and variant trackings can be an early indicator of what's to come in the days ahead. If we continue over here to hospitalizations, we can now see there's 33,600 hospitalizations for coronavirus in this country, and only 5,277 hospitals reported today. Usually it's about 6,100, so that's a little bit low. We probably won't see a full 6,100, maybe tomorrow, but more likely on Thursday, and usually when that happens, we see a significant increase in hospitalizations. Over the weekend, on Saturday, we briefly touched 34,000 hospitalizations. I think we're going to go back to that tomorrow, and I think Thursday we might even hit 35,000 hospitalizations. And as time goes on, this is going to be a 1 to 2 month wave for the rest of this month, and into July, we're going to be dealing with the BA.5 wave. We're going to see hospitalizations increase, and do not be surprised if this number doubles to somewhere over 60,000. Okay, looking at the worldwide trend, or the worldwide cases here, we got some bad signs. So India is starting to rise, which they have not seen a rise in cases in a while. Brazil now has 74,000 new cases today. France recorded a whopping 206,000 new cases today. Italy, 132,000 new cases. Australia's been seeing a rise. Japan's been seeing a rise. And if we look at the week-to-week numbers, that's not too much better. The week-to-week numbers here show France up 56%. Italy up 50%. Spain up 26%. Japan up 40%. Mexico's even up 46%. And here's that small rise we were talking about in India, which is interesting. They did not have a spring wave. This is their first wave since the winter wave. Greece is also seeing a rise, and it keeps going down here. South Korea, according to this, 35% increase again. That's not something we want to see. Continuing on here, let's take a look at a chart here of the worldwide. Here, we'll just take a look at 6 different countries. Canada is coming up flat here. India, there's that small increase which started back in May. And as you can see here, Germany has kind of flattened out a little bit. But look at France. You can see France here for cases. Back on June 25th had 62,000. Then they've made their way all the way up to 110,000 new cases. And at 200,000 new case report today. A lot of that is probably from holiday weekend lag, but overall, their trend, as you can see here, is now rapidly rising. And you're looking at the United States here, you're thinking, oh, that's dropping. It's not. It's only down a little bit because we had the holiday weekend lag. Going back to the United States real quickly, I do want to draw your attention to the New York State hospital admissions. Now, this has not updated since last week. We will hopefully get an update tomorrow with some fresh data. But since the last update, as you notice here, we'll look at the end of June. Follow the orange line here for the average. The general average is starting to increase a little bit. And I think this is going to be more noticeable as we get into the next week or two, because we are coming off of a major holiday weekend, which is ultimately going to cause a significant rise in cases. Because unlike Memorial Day weekend, if you recall, Memorial Day weekend, cases were starting to drop because of the spring wave was ending, and there really wasn't a major wave in the United States after Memorial Day weekend because we have already completed our course with the BA.1, .12, .2 variant. However, with 4th of July, we are going into the wave coming off of a major holiday weekend, which is going to be far worse. So if you come in contact with someone who's positive, or you suspect is positive, or you are not feeling well, you got cough, you got a fever, you're feeling under the weather, take an at-home test. Go get the PCR test. Even if you test negative on an at-home test, please go out and get a PCR test, and remember to N95 mask everywhere you go. Alright? So that's pretty much where we stand on today's update for the United States with the coronavirus pandemic. Let's briefly get into monkeypox real quickly, because we broke a record today in the United States. 100 new cases of monkeypox, bringing our total to 560. This number just keeps rapidly going up. And at this point, I think we've lost control. And yes, I'm calling it a pandemic. The World Health Network calls it one. The WHO doesn't. CDC doesn't. The White House doesn't. But it needs to be said what it is. It really is in pandemic territory right now. The highest state and city in this country with cases, that's New York State and New York City, and that's always going to be the case with viruses. They tend to be the bellwether state, and seeing New York State that high already, that's bad news. If you remember March 2020, New York State was hardest hit first. Right now, oddly enough, March 2020, Italy was the highest, one of the hardest hit places. Right now, that's Spain. Spain has 1,746 new cases, or total cases. They have 137 new cases today. So, I mean, this is a troubling trend. And if these trends continue around the world, yeah, this is not going to get better. And there are some modeling projections that show this will continue to get bad as we head into fall. And unfortunately, as we saw with the coronavirus pandemic, this is likely to continue, and worst case outcomes seem to come true. There's not much mitigation. There's not much media coverage. They keep saying it's low risk to the public, but here we are. We're seeing the virus do something that we've never seen it do before. We don't really know why. We can assume maybe immunity has been messed up from coronavirus infections, but we can't say that for certainty. Therefore, remain safe out there, everyone. Continue to mask. Avoid people that are sick. Don't go to concerts. Don't go to large gatherings, conferences. Avoid them right now. It's not safe. Alright, that's it for today's update video. We will do another update video again tomorrow. Thanks for watching.